Furious Prince Harry has completely lost the plot, waging a bitter and vicious war against the brave woman who has won the battle for control of his African charity Sentebale. Now, it's the understanding of the Mark Dolan show that the Duke will stop at nothing to destroy Dr. Sophie Chandauka, who, in her courage in standing up to the prince, has dealt him one of the biggest humiliations of his life by remaining in charge of the charity that was set up in the memory of his mother, Diana. Harry lost. Someone stood up to him, which he's not used to, and Harry wants revenge. Now, allies close to Harry, because of course he never speaks for himself, does he? It's always through his people. And they've told the Telegraph newspaper that Harry will now starve Sentebale of his focus and affection and money. And he'll either support various other alternative charities, presumably to undermine Sentebale and therefore destroy Chandauka, or even, and here's the bombshell, potentially launch a brand new charity, which would be effectively a scorched earth policy on Sentebale. Now, Harry's friends have briefed that he was emotionally devastated and drained after losing the battle with the charity that he championed for the last 19 years. And apparently, according to these insiders, this was the destruction of his life's work, which has now gone up in flames. And the whole thing was a hostile takeover by Dr. Sophie Chandauka. Now, the bottom line is that Harry's having a meltdown. We've pointed out on the Mark Dolan show that he's not a well bunny. He's not a happy man. And he's most certainly not a nice man. Because it's very ironic that whilst he seems to have shaken off allegations of bullying towards the Sentebale management and Dr. Sophie Chandauka herself, because the full investigation did not find that Harry had bullied anyone, well, he's bullying her now. And he's bullying the charity, and he is bullying the brand of Sentebale because, of course, he lost. And he's like a spoiled child, and he's throwing his toys out of the pram. But I genuinely worry for Harry's mental state right now. As we've said on the programme before, the guy's got mental health issues. If he needs help, he should go and see someone. If he needs medication, then pop those pills, baby. Because it's quite clear, notwithstanding this latest embarrassment, that Harry, as I pointed out in the last video, is in a dark place. This is not the life he chose. He's bored in California. He's miserable, and he's wasting what tiny bit of talent he may have between those two rather large royal ears of his. But now we're seeing much worse. We're seeing an escalation of his mental health issues, because now we're seeing the revenge, the anger, and the rage. It's all well and good to be depressed, okay? To be, as Harry is, the world's least happy millionaire. Poor Prince Harry, with my terrible life, in a massive mansion with 16 bathrooms and a Hollywood actress wife and millions of dollars in the bank and 2 healthy kids. And my father is the King of the United Kingdom, and I was born into untold privilege. But oh, my terrible, miserable life. Poor me. Humpy-dumpy-dumpy-dum. Poor Prince Harry. That's one thing, to be depressed and to go around like a grey cloud, which is what this guy has become. And in my view, what Meghan has done to him. But it's another thing for him to become vicious, to attack, to bully, to abuse. Because all of this leaking against Dr. Sophie Chandauka is, I would argue, borderline abusive. This is a woman who joined the charity, right? She's not going to become a millionaire from running this rather humble charity in Africa aimed at HIV kids in Lesotho. Right? She's doing it out of the goodness of her heart. Harry won't even call her Dr. Sophie Chandauka. They call her Miss Sophie Chandauka or Miss Chandauka. And they are using the press to attack her. Now, she doesn't have the power or the platform of the Sussexes. She's just Sophie Chandauka. She's a charity worker doing her best. But now you've got Harry, who's basically using every lever and his amazingly powerful position to belittle this woman and to make her life a misery. Why? Because he's unhappy himself. And you know what they say? Hurt people hurt people. And that's what Harry's doing, and he's doing it to her. Now, I don't mind if he does it to other powerful people, like Prince William, his brother, or his father, King Charles, who is the king of the United Kingdom, but he's got it in for this lady. And the reason why is because she stood up to him and she won. He's not used to someone saying no, Harry. And he's not used to losing because he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and he won the womb lottery. Did he not? So the guy is so thin-skinned. He can't take defeat. Do you know what he should do? I'll tell you what he should do. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. No, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna, zig ah. I've got a great idea for Harry. You see, Harry never listens to me. He needs to watch these videos. And if he did everything that I told him to do or advised, as a friend, if I advised him, his life would be so much better because he'd be living in Britain now. He'd be back at Frogmore. Meghan would be out of the picture, right? He'd see the kids once every 2 weeks. Happy day. You don't need to see the kids more often than once every 2 weeks. I live with my two sons, Elton and Bernie. That's daily. It's too much. 2 weeks would be better. Every day, too much. With Elton and Bernie, too much. Every day, too much. A couple of times a month, happy days. The bottom line is that he'd be living in the United Kingdom. He'd have his military honours. If he'd listened to Mark Dolan from the Mark Dolan Show, he'd be back in the army. He'd be drinking beers, chasing women, probably engaged to some blushing English aristocrats who understands how the royal family works, who understands about respect and discretion and would embrace a public-facing royal role. They have an amazing job and an amazing life, going around opening hospitals, meeting real people, receiving bouquets of flowers and gifts and hugs and selfies. It's a charmed existence. I mean, it's not dissimilar to when I go to my local supermarket because the Mark Dolan Show is getting so big now that if I'm at a Tesco Express or a Sainsbury's local, I've done well in life and I'm enjoying myself. If I'm at a flagship Whole Foods, I have to beat people away. The gifts, the garlands, people fall to their feet. Please, it's not necessary. Your thanks is enough. But the bottom line is that Harry, what he should do, and if he'd listened to me, he'd be back in England and he'd have a great time. And he'd be, having bear hugs with his brother. They'd be going out playing golf together or shooting. They love the game, don't they? The game hunting, all of that stuff. And his life would be immeasurably better if he'd listened to me. And by the way, do you know why he should be listening to me? Because I listen to you. Because I read the comments, right? The comments are not part of the show. Okay? It's not an appendage or an accessory or a kind of nebulous organ like the appendix. Why do we have an appendix? The only thing we know about the appendix, the only time it ever rears its ugly head is when it flares up and nearly kills you, the appendix. How useless is the appendix? Does the appendix have any use whatsoever? Let me know in the comments. I do trust the man above that if he, with a capital H, if he's put the appendix in there, he's put it in for a reason. I mean, we have 2 kidneys. That's smart. And we have 2 eyes and 2 ears. That's pretty smart. Harry's got 2 faces, by the way. and Meghan's got about 11 faces. My husband. Did you see that the other day? I didn't have time to comment on it. We'll get back to this, by the way. Harry's anger issues. What the heck's going on? Did you see that Meghan's birthday was last week? We talked about it on the Mark Dolan Show. We don't miss a trick. We don't miss any stories. But she wrote a birthday message about herself, just saying how amazing she was. And it came from the company, right? From the As Ever team, which is basically Meghan, because it's just her and a big pot of jam in her disastrous kitchen. And maybe a couple of, press agents, and that's about it. But apparently, according to her retail empire, she's the hero that started it all. So celebrities all have big egos, but to wish yourself a happy birthday is going some. But that's Meghan. That is Meghan's pathology. We'll come to that shortly, no doubt. But Harry is so angry that he's now on the warpath. He is in attack mode. That's what I wanted to say. is that the comments aren't just part of the show, they are the show. And Harry should listen to me because I listen to you and I read your comments every single day and it informs my worldview. And you don't take any nonsense, do you? So keep those truth bombs coming. Today's show is dedicated to an extraordinarily special lady. And my understanding is that her name is Janet. I think she's called Janet Spencer. And she watches the Mark Dolan show. She's very poorly. And this show is dedicated to her. And find out more about that at the end of the show. All of my viewers and listeners, you're all so special. And Janet is extra special because she's going through a really tough time at the moment. Find out why at the end. What a lady. Also, Reg is back. My neighbour's cat. More on that at the end. So Harry's angry because he's not used to someone saying no. And he's not used to losing because he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. So that's why, in my view, he hates Dr. Sophie Chandauka. It's not just a case that he doesn't rate her abilities as a chairwoman of a charity. There's vengeful hatred there. There's rage. There's bitterness. There's vitriol. And he wants to take her down. And he wants to take her down where? Where does he want to take her down to? He wants to take her down to Chinatown is where he wants to take her. Well, he's not going to because she's already taken him to Chinatown by winning control of Sentebale. You can't take someone down to Chinatown if they've already taken you to Chinatown. You're in Chinatown, so it's impossible to take someone down to Chinatown when you're already there in Chinatown. Chinatown. So Harry is, I can't lie. I love this story and I've got some extraordinary revelations about what he's planning to do straight after this brief word from our good friends, the sponsors of the show. Are you sick of biased news? Well, so am I. And that's why every morning with my big cup of decaf in my Father's Day mug that I actually bought for myself, I read Ground News. It shows how stories are covered differently by the left, the right and the centre. Take this one, for example, President Donald Trump's tariff crusade. Some outlets say that he's mad and is wrecking the economy. Others say that he's standing up for American jobs and will triumph. Well, Ground News shows both sides and lets you decide, because it turns out you've got a brain! Who knew? So try Ground News. Go to ground.news/Dolan or click the link below. You will get a 40% off discount from the Vantage plan. 40% off for the plan that I use for unlimited access. It is a game-changing way to consume the news. And more importantly, it will make you sound very clever at dinner parties. Ground News is subscriber funded. No billionaire overlords pulling the strings. Just the unvarnished truth from every angle. What's not to like? That is ground.news/Dolan. I'll drink to that. So as usual, Harry is the author of his own tragedy, because it's Harry that started this bitter civil war within Sentebale. Have you noticed that everything that he does ends in bitterness and rancour and a war of words? The guy is a conflict machine, and I think it's because he's lost the plot. Harry's lost the plot. He is absent without leave, folks. He has gone crazy. Harry, tell us when the shuttle lands. He's swinging the lead. He's up a gum tree. He and reality have become semi-detached. He's a space cadet. He's not a well man. He's not a nice man. We know that. But now I honestly think he's unraveling with this latest ill-advised war against a very nice and principled lady. She's got no platform whatsoever. She's not a multimillionaire. She's running a small charity in Africa, which is a great cause, which I'm seriously considering making Sentebale the official charity of the Mark Dolan show. And she doesn't live in a house in Montecito, California. Montecito. She's an ordinary woman. By the way, I find her extraordinary because she's one of the few people that stood up to Harry and won. But, you know, she's a doctor. Okay, Dr. Sophie Chandauka, but she's not a duchess. Or, do you know what I'm thinking of doing? I might do this. Do I have your permission? Can I make Dr. Sophie Chandauka a princess? Is the Mark Dolan show in a position, the Mark Dolan show, daily truth bombs about the royals and other elite figures, corporate, media and showbiz double standards? That's what this show unearths and exposes. Do I have your permission to grant, on behalf of the Mark Dolan show, a princessorship, which is now a word, you're welcome, upon Dr. Sophie Chandauka? Can we call her Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka? For one reason, and one reason only: to annoy Prince Harry. Shall we do that? Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka. I'm not done. I've got more titles. Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka. You ready for this? You're going to love this. Duchess of Lesotho. Ooh, ooh, nobody knows it. Nobody knows. When I was down, I was your clown. Oh, oh, I gave you my heart. Boo, 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 boo. I mean, seriously. Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka, Duchess of Lesotho. Let's do it! Just to annoy Prince Harry. So Harry brought this tragedy on himself. This is the pattern of his behaviour. He ran to the press, complaining about the management of the charity, then resigned. The Charity Commission, who investigated, said that he was very wrong to do that, brought the charity into great ill repute as a result of making things so public. So the Charity Commission took Harry down. They took him down to Chinatown. He thought he would take them down to Chinatown, but he was already in Chinatown. You can't take someone to Chinatown when you're already there in Chinatown, is where they took him. She went on TV. You see, this is what I love about Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka, Duchess of Lesotho, which I don't find an overly long title. I think she's blinking earned it. She's earned it, baby. Earn while you learn. Everyone else would take the abuse, wouldn't they, from Prince Harry and go, oh no, he's made some public comments about me and the management of the company, of the charity. And you would just go away and have a little cry and hope for the best. But that is not the nature of Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka, Duchess of Lesotho. Because she just turned around and went on national TV in England on Sky News and accused Harry of being involved in a cover-up of the bullying claims and described him as a toxic brand whose move to the US had impacted the charity negatively and seen a drop in donations as a result. I mean, I love this woman. No wonder we've decided, I think I've got your permission to call her Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka, Duchess of Lesotho. The Duke of Sussex allegedly sent an unpleasant and imperious message to the head of the charity, which is her, that he founded after in memory of his mum. That's fine. Prince Harry, here's the story, because not many people know the detail of this story. It's quite shocking. Prince Harry allegedly, according to the Telegraph, directly contacted Dr. Chandauka, the princess, the Duchess of Lesotho, following an awkward exchange that she had with Meghan Markle at a charity polo match in Miami last April. Can I just say that every encounter, every exchange with Meghan Markle is awkward, because Meghan Markle is a nightmare. Have you not seen her Netflix TV show? The whole thing is crushingly awkward and embarrassing as she surrounds herself with her, in inverted commas, close friends, who it barely looks like she's ever met. And most of them in that show, that entire series was awkward, because every encounter with Meghan Markle is awkward because she's an awkward person, because she's not really a human being. She's an avatar. She's the human manifestation of ChatGPT software gone horribly wrong. Meghan Markle is a hologram. She's definitely see-through. She's ghost-like. I don't know what the hell's going on. When she went on that show, I've told you this before, a very nice actress said, oh, it's really nice to be working with Meghan Markle. Flash of rage in Meghan Markle's eyes. Didn't you know? I'm not Meghan Markle anymore. I'm Meghan Sussex. could have bitten her head off. A wicked, wicked, wicked response. Is Meghan a wicked and cruel, horrible person? I don't know. But her behaviour is wicked on many occasions, including mocking Queen Elizabeth and literally attacking her so-called friends on her own show. So now poor old Princess Dr. Sophie Chandalkar, Duchess of Lesotho, has had an awkward exchange with Meghan Markle at a charity polo match in Miami last year. By the way, that's Harry's great charity work, right? He goes to Lesotho. He's the patron of Sentebale. How often does he go in 6 years? Twice. Okay. I've been to the dental hygienist more often than that. And I'm British. We don't look after our teeth. I'm like the most regular customer. I got an angry response there from one of my lovely viewers saying, Mark, how dare you speak down about the teeth of the English? We've got great teeth. What are you talking about? It's all about opinions, folks. I will say some Americans' teeth are too good. You can have too good teeth. Overly white. I don't like it when the teeth come together. They're all white. They're clearly new. And it's like just a solid block of white, almost like a mouth guard. So I think Courtney Cox looks a bit like that. And it freaks me out. I've got to say, I'm glad I'm not her better half, because I'd struggle with her luminous teeth. Glow in the dark. I mean, that's like Herman Munster, isn't it? Thanks, but no thanks. Let's go back to the Princess Sophie Chandalkar, Duchess of Lesotho. So they're at this polo match in Miami. So that's what Harry's great idea is. I'm going to support the charity by doing my favorite sport just in a very sunny part of America in Florida. Right? That's Harry's idea of pushing the boat out, is to play his favorite sport in one of the most beautiful places in the world. That's Harry really, like, you know, taking one for the team. And he initially asked his team to contact Dr. Chandalkar and request that she issue a statement quashing any rumours of tension between her and the Duchess. After Sophie refused to be drawn into the row, Prince Harry, allegedly, according to the Telegraph, fired a direct message to her, allegedly demanding that she, wait for it, explain herself. Explain herself. This is what Harry is like. He goes after people. He's imperious. That sounds to me like bullying behaviour if it's true. Explain yourself. Do you remember that encounter he had with the Sky News lady when he was in Africa? I think in 2018, 2019. And he had a go at that lady, Rhiannon, I think she was called. And he was rude to her. So pompous. I'm beginning to think that Harry is worse than Andrew. I think Harry might be worse than Prince Andrew. And Prince Andrew is the most disgraced person on the planet. I think Harry's worse. Explain yourself is the allegation. According to sources, the note was unpleasant in tone and used imperious language that left the charity boss, Princess Dr. Sophie, feeling taken aback. The Telegraph understands that her refusal to comply with the request to back Meghan contributed to the bitter dispute that saw the charity torn apart. By the way, Harry won the polo match in Miami. Well done, Harry. Aren't you so clever and talented? You're such a great, amazing athlete. Ooh, you won your little polo match, dancing around on a horse. Humpy dumpy dumpy dump. Oh, Prince Harry riding a horse. And I've won a polo match. You didn't win the polo match, Harry. The horse won the polo match. Talk to the horse, because the hand ain't listening. Who won that charity polo match? It was the horse that won it, not Harry. And you get more sense out of the horse than you would out of the H-bomb. My husband. So here's the story. The Duchess, who had not been expected to attend this event, this rather boring charity polo match, turned up at short notice, obviously, rude, accompanied by a camera crew from the couple's Netflix documentary. Why? Because they were desperate for material. Serena Williams was the 7 times Wimbledon champion. Friend of the Duchess was also present. By the way, they say friend of the Duchess. Meghan says that. Serena denied that they're friends and said, we just were acquaintances. Yikes. So, according to one source, Meghan spent too much of the afternoon at this polo match chatting to Serena Williams. Venus is her sister. occasionally asking the organisers to bring her champagne. It's a charity event, and Meghan is allegedly mainlining the champagne. But the problem arose at the end of the match when the players and their partners gathered on the podium for a post-match photograph. In an exchange captured on camera, Meghan appeared to instruct Dr. Chandauka, Princess Dr. Chandauka, Duchess of Lesotho, to move away from the Duke as he celebrated his win. The allegation is that Meghan instructed Dr. Sophie to move away from Harry. Meghan said, "Get away from Harry. Move away from my husband, please. Can you please step away from my husband? Step away now." The Duchess was filmed asking Dr. Chandauka to move to the other side of her husband, forcing Sophie, and I thought this was humiliating for Sophie, to duck under the trophy to switch position. You should never ask a woman to do that. That's obnoxious and humiliating, that she had to duck down underneath this stupid, meaningless trophy that wasn't won by Harry. It was won by the horse. I would rather spend an evening with the horse that won that polo match than spend any time with Harry, the world's least happy millionaire, who hasn't got an ounce of talent. He just won the womb lottery, didn't he? So that's the allegation, that Chandauka was urged to move to the other side, forcing her to duck under the trophy to switch position. The brief encounter generated huge publicity, and behind the scenes, the Sussexes were said to be furious at the way it appeared. Well, of course they were furious at the way it appeared, because what happened is that we saw Meghan for who and what she is, and they were furious that we saw the people that they are. Why else do you think it is that Harry sues the press every 10 minutes? Because he doesn't want us to know what he's like and the life he lives. He doesn't want accountability. He wants the money and the fame and the position. Don't forget, he's still fighting hard for his kids to have, well, he certainly was recently, to have HRH and Prince and Princess on their UK passports. He's leaving the door open for access to a monarchy which he apparently detests. So the Telegraph understands that a member of Prince Harry's team initially asked Dr. Chandauka to issue a statement dismissing any suggestions of tension. But Dr. Chandauka, who felt she'd been treated with disrespect during the charity day, which, by the way, she had, well, she refused, saying she did not wish to become, and I quote, an extension of the Sussex PR machine. So now you know why Harry wants to take her down and take her down to Chinatown, because she's seeing through this couple. She's calling them out. She's exposed them. The Duke then contacted her directly, allegedly, to complain about her actions, with sources describing the message as unpleasant. A spokesperson for Sentebale confirmed that the Duke had sent the message. This is true, Sentebale said. There is a document. Well, the damage is done. Harry's lost the plot. He's gone completely mad. And I don't know where he goes from here. But he doesn't go to a good place. Because now he's just crazy. Now he's unhinged. Because now it's this bitter war that he's waging against this lovely, innocent woman who's trying to do her best for a charity dedicated to young people in Lesotho. But he's going after her with his PR machine. But I don't think that he'll win. What he's got is money and lawyers and public relations executives. He's got the titles. He's got the famous name. But she's got something that he'll never have, which is a backbone. She's got character. She's got soul. And she'll win. She already has. And Harry, keep digging, baby. And by the way, he is still digging. Because if anything, this story's got worse. Sophie Chandauka did the nicest thing when she won her battle. She didn't gloat. She didn't, do big interviews going, ha ha, I'm the victor in this battle. She simply vowed, when this dispute was over, which, by the way, must have been very stressful for her and emotionally draining. There's Harry talking about being drained and emotionally devastated. Harry, how devastated emotionally do you think your family felt when you wrote that traitorous book about them called Spare, which was full of lies. So it gets worse. Sophie gains control of the charity. Harry's discredited. To be fair to Harry, everyone was criticised. Sophie, the board, the management. But I will just leave it there that Sophie's in charge now. So she's won the argument. Anyway, so she takes control of the charity last week, and she did a lovely thing. She vowed to honour the founding mission of the charity Centre Barley, which was set up in memory of Diana, the Princess of Wales. So that's what she's done. She said that she will honour the founding mission of Centre Barley in memory of Diana, Princess of Wales. That was the right thing to do, because what Sophie Chandalkar has done, the Duchess of Lesotho has done there, is she's acknowledged the history and the DNA of the charity and wanted to make sure that Diana, as a sort of pivotal figure within this organisation, spiritually and posthumously, isn't thrown out of the charity by Harry, because of course Harry wants to destroy the charity now, and therefore he can't have any remnants of his mother's memory within Centre Barley, because that gives Centre Barley authority, and it's part of his intellectual property, control of which he's lost if Diana remains linked to Centre Barley, right? So he loses the charity, but it's still Diana's charity. By the way, what a hot mess this all is. What a needless hot mess. What does William make of this? What does Prince William make of this hot mess? Right? This is a dumpster fire of a charity now, a smoking ruin of an organisation, which has Princess Diana as its founding icon, as its figurehead. And William must be scratching his head, just thinking, what on earth is going on? How can a charity set up in the memory of Princess Diana, one of the greatest humans in history, how can it possibly fail? How can it be a dumpster fire? Well, I've got 3 words for you by way of the answer. Harry Mountbatten Windsor. Humpy-dumpy-dumpy-dum. Poor Prince Harry. Everything I touch turns to mud. William must be incredulous. It's had the best possible start. We've been talking about Centre Barley for years, and Diana being the glittering icon attached to it, one of the most beautiful women in history. She'll be up there with Queen Victoria, with Mary, Queen of Scots, Elizabeth I. Diana will be up there with Mother Teresa. Diana will be up there with Agatha Christie. She'll be up there with lots and lots of incredible glittering female icons. And yet the charity in her name is collapsing around Harry's ears. So Sophie did the right thing, which is to reaffirm the Diana connection. But Harry's furious about that, because that's one thing he can't control. He wants to throw his toys out the pram, and Diana would be one of those things. Meanwhile, William's incredulous. So she said that. She said she wanted to vow to honour the founding mission of the charity. Well, a source close to Prince Harry, because it's never Prince Harry, because he's cowardly, but a source close to Prince Harry said for Sophie Chandalkar, because they won't call her Dr. Chandalkar, but of course on the Mark Dolan show, she's Dr. Princess Sophie Chandalkar. She is, let's get it right, Princess Dr. Sophie Chandalkar, Duchess of Lesotho. They say for Sophie Chandalkar to have invoked Princess Diana's memory in her own defence was in the poorest possible taste. The insider goes on to say rather disgustingly, she's got what she wants, which is control of the charity, but unfortunately the people who suffer most out of all of this are the children of Lesotho and Botswana. How dare they? How dare they say that? Harry's insiders. How dare they attack her for invoking the memory of the woman for whom the charity was created and which must continue? It's shocking and it's outrageous. Before we go, by the way, my neighbour's cat Reg is back, and this show is dedicated to an incredibly special viewer. It's all coming. But I just want to congratulate Sophie, because she's won. She's still there. Do you know what Harry should do? He should go back to Sentebale. Okay? After he's apologised to King Charles and William and offered to divorce Meghan for a peace deal with the royals, because that's my plan. I've sorted that out. You're welcome. Thank you very much. I've done that. Okay, I'll fix that for you. I think then Harry should go from Buckingham Palace, where he's apologised to William and Charles, signed a legally binding document saying there'll be no more books or podcasts or TV shows, and offering a divorce from Meghan. And then he should fly to Lesotho, which is a place he doesn't know very well because he's only been there twice in 6 years. He should apologise to Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka, Duchess of Lesotho. And he should say, I'm really sorry for the obnoxious remarks I've made since losing control of this charity. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer you my unlimited support and my services and my help. And also I've got a few $1 million in the bank, so I can also chuck some money in if you like. By way of an apology, I pledge $250,000 to this charity so it can get back on its feet, honour the memory of Diana, and enable you, Princess Duchess Sophie Lesotho Doctor. I believe I'm unravelling at this point as well, folks. The computer's starting to malfunction. He should apologise to her. He should do a down payment of $250,000, and he should give Sophie that money, the Duchess of Lesotho, and he should say, there's $250,000, and I'll leave that to your wise judgment of where that money goes. And I guarantee you the children of Lesotho will benefit. Sophie gets her platform. She gets an injection of money. Harry says sorry. They rebuild that relationship. And that would be the right thing to do. He could easily go back to Sentebale. If he called her and said, oh, Sophie, by the way, I think we'd have to, part of the deal is that he would have to refer to her as Duchess. And he'd have to call her your African Highness. That would be, that's a deal breaker for me, is when he calls her on the FaceTime, goes, oh, hello, it's Prince Harry here, world's least happy millionaire. I'd like to speak to Princess Dr. Sophie Chandauka, Duchess of Lesotho, please. Humpa-dumpa-dumpa-dump. And she's like, hi, Harry, how can I help you? Knowing that I've taken you down, and I've taken you down to Chinatown. Well, yes, you have taken me down to Chinatown, and I acknowledge that you have taken me down to Chinatown, and that I tried to take you down to Chinatown, but you can't take someone down to Chinatown when you were already in Chinatown where you were taken down. And I'd like to apologise. I'd like to write you a cheque, a bank transfer for $250,000 to re-energise the charity and offer you all the help I can. And I promise you that Meghan will never make you duck under a trophy ever again, and that you will be treated with maximum respect. And that's why I'll also be referring to you always as your African Highness. Will you accept my apology and $250,000 big ones in your account by close of play Friday? How's about it? At which point, Sophie Chandauka will smile, fold her arms and go, well, Prince Harry, thank you for, first of all, acknowledging that I am the Duchess of Lesotho, courtesy of the Mark Dolan Show. And secondly, we'll take your money and we'll take your goodwill. We'll take the apology. We'll take the fact that Meghan Markle is banned from every single Sentebale event for the rest of time. And if you're happy to agree to those terms and always refer to me as Duchess or your African Highness, we got a deal, baby. But it won't happen because, as Amanda Platel, a good friend of mine at the Daily Mail newspaper, what a brilliant columnist, fearless. She was on my old TV show, great journalist. She knows her onions. Australian. Like so many viewers of the Mark Dolan Show, Australia and New Zealand. By the way, I have a lot of viewers in Canada. And I'm going to come to Canada. I've got to go to Canada, Australia and New Zealand, South Africa, Holland, Germany, Italy, France. These are some, the Republic of Ireland. These are some big territories for the Mark Dolan Show. Got to talk about Canada. What a country, part of the Commonwealth. My God, what a place. So, but Australia produced Amanda Platel, who is a no-nonsense Australian, doesn't take any crap from anyone, and she will take you down to Chinatown. And I'm sure there's a Chinatown in Sydney, and she'll take you there. She'll take you down to the Sydney equivalent, the Sydney branch of Chinatown. And Amanda Platel said that Harry's a quitter. He's a quitter, man. And she's so right. She points out in her excellent article that I can recommend that he quit the military when he could have had he could have stayed in the army until retirement. Why not? He quit the royal family. He quit his royal duties. He quit Centebale. He's a quitter. Amanda Platel has called it out that he is a quitter. And soon, if he's got any sense, he'll quit that marriage. Because Mark Dolan, the Mark Dolan show is the first show in the world to place Harry and Meghan on 24/7 Divorce Watch. One thing that he also could quit before we go is he could quit Invictus. Let me know in the comments. Do you think that Harry is now bad for Invictus? Because in my view, he's made it all about himself with those rather politically slanted speeches he makes where he's so angry with the world. I mean, this is Invictus, where you've got injured servicemen and women who are, in many cases, not able-bodied. They've got missing limbs, and they compete in amazing top-level sport. They're all heroes. And it should be a cause of celebration, Invictus. It should be joyous. Look at their recovery. And now they're winners, and they're scooping medals. But yet Harry has made that thing so miserable, so depressing. It's such an angry, bitter event because it's suffused with his mentality and his attitude. Do you think that he should, is Harry bad for Invictus? Let me know in the comments. Or should he stay? Should he stay or should he go? You know, I've got to let you know. Should I stay or should I go? I wonder if he should quit Invictus. I think that their publicity would increase and the goodwill, and I think the fundraising would increase if he left. A lot of you have suggested in the comments that David Beckham should take over. Well, I'm going to be talking about David Beckham in a video very shortly, but I think that's a great idea to give Sir David Beckham control of Invictus. A, because he's a great sportsman and a lovely guy who won't politicize it. His wife, Victoria Beckham, will join him, but she won't make it about her. And she won't wear revealing outfits and lead a parade of disabled people showing off her perfect able-bodied body, which is what Meghan did. No humility, no dignity, no discretion. So Victoria and David, what a partnership they'd be for Invictus. I'm quite happy for David to take over Invictus. He wouldn't put a foot wrong. He would be pitch perfect. But let me know what you think about that. Has Harry now become too toxic for Invictus? Let me know your thoughts. I'm working on a big story about the Beckhams, who are England's second royal family. That's coming. Don't forget the Mark Dolan show. 9 o'clock every day, Sunday through Thursday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 9 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. US West Coast, 4 p.m. US East Coast, early morning down under. G'day. Let's throw a shrimp on the barbie and have a couple of Castlemaine's. Before we go, and before we get to Reg, my neighbour's cat, doing this show is the greatest privilege of my life and of my career, because you come to me every day and you don't have to. So it's such a privilege that we have this relationship, this daily conversation. The show's growing, it's evolving, it's organic, it's not fixed, it's not cast in stone. I'm still learning. Yeah. You can never know what it's like. Your blood like when a fuse just like ice. And there's a cold and lonely light shine from you. And you find out what your mind's still landing. You loved head to you. Don't you know I'm still standing? Turns out a very hard song to sing. Right. It's the great thing. And you know, the show is evolving every day. You got to tell me what you love, what you don't love. And, you know, we do royal stuff, but I'm looking to migrate into other areas of other showbiz stuff, powerful elites, the media, politics, that kind of thing, the culture wars, political correctness gone mad, woke madness, you know. So the show's not fixed. It's evolving. I'm learning. It's growing. It's a living, breathing thing. But I do have a lot of fun with Harry and Meghan because they are the perfect example of elite double standards, and they keep giving us so much material. So the show's growing. I'm having so much fun. It's all thanks to you. And you are such a special group of human beings. And there is somebody that's extra special. And it takes an awful lot to stop me in my tracks. As you know, I'm a bit of a chatterbox. But this one really, really silenced me. And you'll understand why. Because I received a comment after, I think, my most recent video from a lady that I believe is called Janet Spencer. I can't always be sure about your names because sometimes you'll use your husband's YouTube account or your wife's YouTube account. So maybe it's a different person, but I believe, and I think that this is Janet because that's what the message, it's labeled as coming from Janet Spencer. And this is incredibly moving. And Janet wrote in the most recent comment, Mr. Dolan, as I'm coming close to the end of my terminal cancer diagnosis, I would like to say that your program is highly entertaining, honest, and intelligent. Thank you very much. Now, Janet, first of all, thank you for the kind words, but let's cast aside your praise because that's not the story here. I'm very grateful, incredibly grateful for your kind words. But the story here is that your message moved me deeply, and it was very courageous of you to share what you're going through with me, and obviously, by definition, all of the viewers of the Mark Dolan Show, because that's a public comment, and you've shared what you're going through with not just me, but the whole Mark Dolan Show family. And so I'm humbled that you've done that, and I'm amazed by your courage. And all I can say is what I said in response to your comment, which is that I'm sending you all of my love and all of my strength at this difficult time. I hope you've got family and loved ones around you who are supporting you. But I know I speak on behalf of every single viewer and listener to the Mark Dolan Show that we're thinking of you, that we're with you at this difficult time, that you're not alone, and we are all collectively opening our hearts to you and metaphorically giving you the world's biggest, longest hug. So, Janet, we love you and we're praying for you. And may God bless you as you navigate these difficult days ahead. All our love. And thank you, Janet, and all my love to your family as well, who are no doubt really struggling as they watch you suffer. I can't say much more than that, but that's incredible, an incredible moment of, and you know, we sort of talk about challenges in our lives. You've got Harry and Meghan moaning about how difficult their lives are, and then you hear what Janet's going through with such grace and with such dignity and with such courage. It puts all of us in our place. So in a sense, Janet, you've taken me down, and you've taken me down to Chinatown because I'm speechless. I don't know what to say, but love you loads. I've got a little treat for you, Janet, and the rest of the Mark Dolan Show family, because there's a cat in our neighborhood called Reg. It's not my cat. He visits about 8 or 9 or 10 households. And, well, he interrupts really, you know, the process by which I make the Mark Dolan Show. He's terribly demanding, but he's also terribly gorgeous and handsome. And so here is a brief encounter with Reg, my neighbour's cat. Apologies for the disgusting state of my mouth and face. I just finished one of those whey protein smoothies before discovering a rather wild animal in the garden. This show is dedicated to Janet. I'll see you for the next one tomorrow. Big love and bye for now. Just relaxing in the garden on a rare sunny day in the United Kingdom because Britain didn't get the memo that it's summer. And it's very nice. I've got a cup of tea on the go and I'm enjoying the rays, but I've been disturbed because there's a creature in the garden, an imposter. I might be tempted to call it an invasion of some sort, certainly an invasive species. And it's this character. Now, what would you call this particular species? Wow. Look at the threat there from those teeth, from those sharp teeth, the pointy ears, the whiskers, the penetrating eyes. It is Reg the cat, who has made a welcome return to the Mark Dolan Show garden, which is getting wilder by the day. Look at that. Well, hello, Reg. How are you? Come and say hello to my viewers who are big fans of yours, and they'd like to know where you've been. Have you been at some of those other properties, the 9 or so houses that you visit? Have you, horror of horrors, actually been with your own family for once and been a loyal cat? Well, whatever your motivation, whatever you've been up to, it's good to have you back. Reg strikes back.